low sounds. So what happens here is you press the eighth note, red button, and then if it's high, you drag it to Mozart mouse. If it's low, you drag it to Beethoven character. So I'll give you a few examples here. So where should I drag it? Mozart, right? Let's do another example. Right. And so forth. So it's really cute characters. Generally, the sounds are easy to distinguish between low and high. There is a loud and soft sound. So Mozart or Beethoven? Mozart, right? That's soft. Generally, these are easy to distinguish. Sometimes you get a sort of mezzo range where you're not sure we found, but the high and low is a little clearer. So the next one, I could use a volunteer for some note identification. It's very easy. Okay, very good.
I should be able to read Trevor by now, I hope.
Okay. Maybe I'll just increase the volume a little bit too. Okay, so what Gary's going to do is identify the note on the keyboard. And you'll see the points are collecting. Could you get one wrong for us, Gary? And what happens here is just we receive no points. Great. Great job. Great job. Thank you.
Such pressure.
Not too bad. Oops, I wanted to do
What
the
if you hit the C,
That's where I'm going next. If you would mind volunteering next.
I'm volunteering.
All right, next you're volunteering. So let's go to this is questions. Okay. So same thing. Your name is
Kyle.
Kyle. Kyle's going to identify notes now using letter names. So you can go ahead and give us a few examples. You got it? So it just turned through.
They all turned right? So if it takes 3 times, they get 3 chances though.
I think you get unlimited chances. Is it more than 3?
I think I just did 3 and it came out.
Oh, okay, great to know. That's good to know.
There you go.
Yeah,
It's
so thank you, Kyle.
You're welcome.
Did anyone notice anything about the direction up and down there on the letter names, the keyboard?
Well, sometimes you have to, I mean, you're looking like you're going up and then
Right.
because it changes clefs, it's
Exactly.
going the opposite way.
Right, that's one thing we found that could be potentially confusing. Exactly, is you just have those 7 letters to work with, and you have to go the direction of the letters that might not match what's on the staff. So that's one potential kink to look out for. Is there anything else on this that?
No, well, the one thing that I like is that it doesn't play the note until after you've identified it. So that kind of helps with perfect pitch. Some of the other apps, they actually play the note and you have to identify it. And if the kid had perfect pitch, they would not be reading music at all. They'd just be hearing the pitch. You can always turn off the sound in those cases, or I think I managed to do that in all cases. But I like this one that it's a confirmation sound, which is nice. But the biggest thing for us was that when you're looking at this and the notes are going up, you sometimes have to choose down, or you have to find the order in a series of letters, A, B, C, D, F, G, which seemed a little odd if you're trying to think in connection with the keyboard.
Well, I have a question. Is your iPad plugged into a little keyboard? Is that how you're doing it? Or is it?
Most of these have that option, so that you can actually plug your iPad into an electronic keyboard, or sometimes it hears what you're doing on the piano, but in each of these, you can always also just sort of play on whatever they put on the iPad screen.
Oh,
So there are usually some variations on how you can use it. I think you'll see that a little bit later. They'll give us, when you set up, you'll have some options. Okay, all right, so. The next one, sorry about that, a little crackly. Sorry. Let me turn that down. It should be done. There we go. So rhythm swing is a really quick little game for rhythm, and you have, it's pretty elementary again, just quarters, halves, wholes, and dotted halves, and then the special game. And what I liked about this one was the graphics. There's a little monkey, and the monkey swings, and then there's a little alligator that's really cute, and the monkey has to stay away from the alligator as part of the game. The other thing that's kind of nice about this one, let's try the half-note ones, for instance. There's a learn portion and a practice and a play, and the learn part is like this one.
In our last lesson, we learned about the quarter note. We learned that each quarter note is equal to one beat of our music. If the beat is fast, our quarter notes will be fast to match them. 1, 2, ready, listen.
So it's very straightforward. We liked how the guy presented the materials. We thought it was very stepwise and made good sense, nice pedagogy. And it's completely different than the actual game and the app that you play. So I like the fact that there's both parts. There's the instructional part, and then there's the game part. I think that's really useful. Here's the practice part. You can tap, I should have someone do this. We'll let you play the game. So you tap that.
1, 2, ready, play.
You can tap anywhere on the screen. That's all. Good job. I like my rewards. Okay, and then have someone come up and just play once. It's really cute. There's the monkey. Anybody want to come up?
yeah, I'm gonna try
Yeah,
that
come on up. Thanks. See, there's a little alligator. I think he's so cute. No, you're gonna tap. When you do this, tap on the nut.
1, 2,
right on the
ready,
nut.
play.
You didn't hold it long enough.
Okay, I
It's a half nose. So I was worried that the monkey would get eaten, but he doesn't. That's really good.
1, 2, ready, play.
It makes you really want to try.
Yeah. And now watch. They do this little thing.
This hand again.
And the little jungle sounds and everything. Yeah, do one more. So the sounds.
1, 2,
And the tempo.
ready, play.
Go. That's all there is to it.
So I have a question.
Uh-huh.
Can you choose whether it's gonna go fast or slow?
Yeah, this one, let me, nice and really good, because a lot of beginning piano students kind of lock into one tempo. They always play that same tempo. It's really hard to get them to go fast or slow. And the music, background music changes, as you heard, it's instrumental different ways.
Do you know if you can change the time signature, or is it kind of always before?
Well, it's only 4/4 or 2/4 until you get to dotted.
Okay.
Then it'll go into, there's some threes in there, yeah. And then the little special stage there, there's no learning or anything. This is the boss stage. That's a little more complex, but not much. It is still really basic. I would use one of those to show you. I love that. And the pitches
One,
change even
two,
though you don't
ready,
go anywhere.
play.
Blues note in there. So you can see, if I go back to the menu, like there's like that many games. When it fills up, you're done. Oh, I keep doing that. Anyway. When you do well, you get lots of stars, you see. So I've played that half note one enough times, and I've done pretty well that I get some stars. That's rhythm swing. Okay. I'm gonna do more swap out here. Yeah. This one is next.
That's right, flash it.
Oh yeah, this is a good one.
This next app is by the same maker as Rhythm Swing, so very attractive graphics. And I've used it with students. It's been a hit so far. So I'll get that loaded here. That's the little horse race over here in the top left, so we'll click on that.
Flash note derby.
Is anyone familiar with this one? Kyle's used- Oh, okay, great.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a really fun one, and it's popular with students, I've found. Just have to turn this around so I can see through here. So you can preset what notes you would like to drill and work on. So I have a preset here that I wanted to have a volunteer try for us. So anyone up for a little note identification? Oh, don't make me choose. Choose? Okay, thank you. Great volunteer. All right, so I'm going to click the thumbs up in the bottom right here, and you are Claire. Thank you, Claire. So come on up. We'll click our thumbs up. What's going to happen is you'll hear a bell for a horse race go off, and then Claire will begin identifying our riddles. So, yeah, right. And as Claire answers correctly, her horse goes a little
Yeah.
Oh.
Right, right. Good job. Very clear. So we kind of review our mistakes in this app. So we see Claire's mistake here, intentional mistake. Middle C, and we can race again if we like.
And what happens if you lose?
If you lose, I think it moves you and.
Well,
I don't know if there's any real consequence other than
You
reviewing.
can still get as many points.
Yeah. So you have a couple of these settings here I wanted to point out. If you either click on the notes or you can drag as well. That's not working as well. There we go. if I hold down my A and drag, I can preset it to what notes I'd like the student to drill. You can also set your own presets. So for example, if I wanted to call this, full range or something, I can go in and name this and have it as a preset that I can just quickly refer to. There are also some instructional videos, same as in the rhythm swing, since this is the same maker. So I'll just show you a glimpse of that. We'll watch the music alphabet here.
Let's start learning to read music. In this lesson, you'll learn about the music alphabet. In music, we use letters of the alphabet to name all of the different notes. But in music, we don't use all of the letters of the alphabet. Instead, we use only the first 7 letters.
Yes. So again, we felt it's very clear. The good pedagogy is, as Debbie mentioned, a friendly voice and slow enough for students to understand. There are some settings here as well. There was a question about going faster. I think that you had asked for rhythms. You can set this to go faster. So I had it set to trot and gallop and go very fast, increase the number of questions. I had it set to the keyboard for answering, which Kyle mentioned is a little bit more difficult than the letter names. We saw it music for little Mozarts, but I can also do letter names here. I can set it, right, or the combination, right. At the holidays, you can play with reindeer, which returned in November, which I thought was really cute. So I think I'm actually going to keep this, try that out. I've never tried the reindeer. You can also set it to an advanced mode up here in the top left if you'd like to work on your alto and tenor clef students, if you want to drill faces of horror. Yeah, if you want to drill that as well, you can work on more advanced concepts. We did find the same issue as we did in music for little Mozarts, that sometimes you have to go down, answer down when notes are going up and so forth. So that is something to look out for. We found that even more confusing on the keyboard itself than with the 7 letter names. Since a couple of you have used this, I'm wondering if there are any other advantages or disadvantages you found in your teaching?
The one thing I really like, go ahead.
Yeah.
Well, sorry, you can have two lines of kids on the smart board and have them kind of go from the
Oh, that's
front
great.
and then run to the back, so then they're each participating, and it's kind of like that tag team
That's fun.
competitiveness.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then the team wins, like, yeah.
That's
Great.
great.
Yep.
Yeah, that's fun. Group setting.
And the part of the preset, the guy who gives the demonstration of that says that the value of that is, let's say you have a student who, you don't want to just send them home with this game that's kind of like all these notes that they haven't even learned yet. So you can preset it to the notes that you've actually covered during the lesson and tell them what that, send them that setting, and then they're limited to the notes that you really want them to be working on.
Deborah Rock, this is great that you're bringing this attention. We're literally with the movable C+. We're doing the Copriel Suite by Peter Warlock with our Rockland Youth Orchestra right now. And the double bass part actually goes into tenor clef. And our student is in 7th grade, so this is going to be a great way for us to actually help them
Oh,
out.
that's great.
Yeah, if I had to go back and work on alto and tenor clef, I think I would use this.
Yeah.
Because it's much more fun than just grinding out some sort of other learning, yeah. So just to reinforce, when the span of the notes that you're identifying, like this, is larger than the keyboard that they put on the screen, that's where it gets a little complicated. But I think as far as going a different direction to find the note, but I think in most cases, if you hook it up to your own keyboard, then you would be good. Yeah, you wouldn't have to use the octave one. And you'll see a little later, we'll show you one that the octave is greater, and you can actually go the right direction. I know my students, when they're young, they do, well, actually, it's the college students that I teach because we go so fast that sometimes they get a little lost on which octave to play in. And the little kids, you go much slower, and they sort of seem to understand naturally which octave they're playing in because you don't move around so much at first. But with the older kids, it's more difficult, I think.
All right. Good.
style. You can tell it's a different maker. Here. So see, this is what it looks like. And to me, oops, is it there? There it is, there, okay. I call this the Mickey Mouse one. Because it's an upside down Mickey Mouse to me. This looks like Mickey Mouse, as you can tell, with the ears and the head, you know. There's a game center which hooks you into an online thing where you can play games. There's a treble and bass reference. The options I wanted to show you, this is a little small, but you can see you can choose just treble, just bass, or both. You can say how large your range is, treble and bass. You can determine the duration. You can determine whether you want to use notes or do, re, mi, fa, sol, like that. And this is where, this one is where you can turn off the sound, so that if someone had perfect pitch or you didn't want them to rely on sound, you can turn that off, and then they're really identifying by sight, and you can choose sharp and flat notes. What I tried to do, again, this one has a keyboard. And I tried to limit the range to an octave so that I could actually go the right direction on the keyboard to find the note. And there's a little quirk in that you can't get it down to like C to B. You can only go C to C. And so if you get it down that short of a distance, then you can actually, it works on the keyboard, but it's one note too big actually to really work on it. But we'll just try it here. I'll show you how this one works. You'll see it's timed. So watch, I have to go down to hit the D flat. Now I have to go up to hit the E and G. It's just not the direction you really go on a keyboard. And you do this until, see my B flat, where is it? I'm looking over here. You know, quite challenging. But so do you see how this one's much more cut and dry, and you can hear, actually in this case the sound is still on and it's not doing the sound until I play it, so that's okay. And then you have a minute, that's the part you can score. And really that's about all it is. So it's very straightforward, just note identification. What's that? Beware of ads, I tell you. Okay, any questions on that one? I just wanted to show you kind of a plain Jane type version of one. So, maybe go into Panama. Sure. Yeah.
I'll just mention that I use that one only because if you have an adult, you don't want to see all the graphics.
Yeah, right. I think it's right to the point, it's a good drill, it's timed, you can keep your score. Sorry.
Yeah. This next one is called Piano Maestro. Another, so far it's proven popular with, well, the two students that we tested. But it has attractive graphics, sort of a cartoonish Mozart-looking guy that here it is, Piano Maestro, that cheers for you. So it takes a little second to load, and it has these cute little sayings as it loads, also saving the planet, sipping tea, dressing. It's just kind of giving it to you. Yeah. So what you can do in this app is load your students into it, so you can communicate with them. Does anyone use this one? Okay, great. So I'll show you first, manage my students, and since this does require adult verification, so I have to swipe with 2 fingers there. You know what? I think my internet seems to be. Try one more time. Oh, I've lost my internet connection there. But what I did was load my student in, and you can upload all your students and send them assignments. So I'll work with here, start lesson finish student, and I'm going to select. And Banana is my student. She names herself. I don't nickname my students. And I'm the teacher there, the little owl. And then I'm going to select. And then Banana is my student. She names herself. I don't nickname my students. Just so. And I'm the teacher there, the little owl. And then I'm going to select. And then Banana is my student. She names herself. I don't nickname my students. Just so. And then Banana is my student. She names herself. I don't nickname my students. asked me if I want to change her lesson because Anna's lesson is Tuesday, so I just put no. And there are several sections here that will show you. So I'll start with the journey, which are the actual songs that the student would play. Anna is on chapter 4 right now, and I'm going to go back to the first song just to show you. So it gives you a little bit of a tutorial. Let's try learning first. So we can try each step individually. So step 1, phrase 1 with hold on. Just demonstrate that. We've got winding our metronome, saving the planet. So just kind of, so it'll show you each step. Now you can, as Debbie mentioned, you can enable your acoustic piano or keyboard, or you can just play on the iPad itself. So you have to tap the green key to start, and it'll sort of teach me what I'm supposed to do. We'll just do a practice. And so forth. So this is with no background accompaniment, so I'm going to go back. Oh, I got that wrong. Oops. Just take myself back to the menu there, okay. And we'll just play the song now with the accompaniment. So it'll give me a little bit of a lesson as I wait, quarter notes, half notes. And then we'll go ahead and go down if I don't do so well. And hopefully it will show me if you do a good job and get a high enough score, you can take your picture and email it to the parent. So let's see if that, it's cute. I think it comes after this screen, actually. Reward, maybe I didn't do well enough because I missed a note. But it will show you, take your picture, and I'm connected to Anna's parents via email. So we can just click and send them. Anna did a great job on Rockin' with her photo, so it's really cute. Let's go back to the menu here, and maybe we can take a volunteer and try another song. Would anybody like to plunk out some middle C's? I think there may be a D in the next one.
So they're not all C's.
They're not all C's, yeah. As we increase, each chapter adds a note. So the chapter 2, middle C and D, and so forth. All right, so let's have someone try middle C's. Or more notes, maybe chapter 2. How about C and D? You'd like a challenge. Anybody? Well, we'll have our tech lab.
Okay, we'll have our tech lab.
We can try. Just to show you the other sections, there are home challenges. So Anna Banana's home challenge. I sent her this as a challenge. She's stuck on this in chapter 4, so she can continue to work on it. So again, that goes through her parents' email. And there is, what's nice about this app as well is there's a pretty extensive library. So I'll show you the portion. The Alfred stuff is loaded into this app. So if you're using let's see, the basic 1A, you can go through it and it'll give you background accompaniments for each of these songs. The student can play along. So it's not every page, I think, that was loaded onto here, but most of the book. It also had, for our purposes, working with the college students, it has the Alfred group piano book as well with some background accompaniments for some of the exercises, so it could be from collegiate level as well, if you wanted to. I think it's fun. There are exercises loaded into here too. You can purchase additional packages in this app for fuller libraries. I just went with what was free, so I chose the free exercises, and here we go. So there are 5-finger warm-ups and so forth. Same as the Rockin' song, you play along with the background accompaniment. So there's a lot in here that you can work with, but what I liked is just being able to communicate with the parents and send assignments home. I thought that the picture and the email was really cute, just kind of an encouragement. And it's got the fun characters and graphics students enjoy as well.
Does it motivate your students?
I think so, yeah, so far, we haven't been using it like in a long-term study, but, so far in a couple of, months that we've been looking at these, it has been 2 students that have been using it. I know my student Anna is using it every week, and she'll come back and tell me I couldn't get past chapter 4, and, so she seems very excited about it, and Sophia, I think, enjoyed it too.
And I have a student where I'm going to use it, I have to send her her assignment, but I have a transfer student, and she's a really precocious little girl, and she has been taught by a teacher who didn't ask her to learn to read music. So she can play well beyond what she can read, and I'm hoping to get her to read better. And that's painful sometimes, and kids don't want to back up and play easier songs so that they can actually read. So this is going to be great for her. I just need something fun, a fun way for her to get her reading level up to where she's playing. And she's 7, she's going to be perfect age for this. So I think that's and then like we said, Yuka, who has this sort of real problem with feeling the rhythm. And I think for students who need to have more practice, you can't go home and play their duet parts with them all the time to get them to really feel that steady beat. It's great. They can have that steady beat to play with daily instead of just once a week.
It does have some pop songs loaded into there too, when you mentioned your student with difficulty reading. I found some of the younger kids that may be good playing by ear, picking out pop songs they enjoy, they can play along here. So I found that I would, spend a lot of lesson time helping them figure it out. So now you can send them home and say, try it on the app, spend a lesson time working on reading skills.
So that was my question, how much time do you normally spend for the lesson?
Right.
What we were discussing is